Hello, welcome to this weekly tarot reading for December the 7th to December the 13th. Okay, so we're going to talk a lot today about a few things before I start the reading. So you can tune into that, or you can skip it and go straight to the reading after. But yeah, there's a lot of things I want to talk about today, and one of the main topics is that we are entering the winter solstice this December the 20th to December the 22nd. So kind of want to talk about that and what it is and how we can prepare, what we're looking like, what we're expecting, and kind of understand it a bit further. So hello, welcome, Kevin. And yeah, feel free to chat if you guys want to join in the discussion as well. So so basically, what is the winter solstice? Basically, they call this the shift. Okay, so this is basically in December 20th to December 22nd, we are entering the age of Aquarius. So there was a theory that the age of Aquarius was around 2012, December 2012, December 2012. But apparently now they're saying that it is actually in 2020 and that it was not in 2012. So what I think about this is that I feel like it was kind of like the pre-shadow phases, I think, of the Aquarian age. That's my opinion in general about this. So I feel like I feel like the official date of course it's December of 2020. But I feel like the energies of the Aquarian age started to kind of take effect a couple of years ago, I think, and it really has done a lot of changes in the planet. A lot of natural disasters happened, but at the same time there was good things about it, where we actually shifted, in our awareness and our consciousness, right? So we elevated ourselves a bit further, and things started to change around us, and all these documentaries came out, and all these awarenesses and regarding vegetarianism and veganism, and then about organic farming, and then about permaculture and the tiny house movement. So all these things started to develop within previous 10 years, I think. So all these shifts, all these changes, right, happen, and healing centers as well. And so yeah, I really feel like it did start in 2012, but I feel like those were the pre-shadow phases, and now I think we're entering into like the actual date, right? Yeah, okay, well, I'll talk about the equinox. I'll talk about what's changes is going to do for us. So basically, okay, I'm going to read it from here. So I'll kind of put the link in the description below about what this is all about. So I'll read the article, and we can take a look at that. So all right, so so this, they call it the 2-day worldwide light transmission on the 21st and 22nd of December. Okay, so these are the steps of ascension. So what they are saying is that this is going to be kind of a moment for us to ascend higher. So this is going to give us the opportunity to kind of elevate us into a much more high vibrational state. So entering the fifth dimension. So kind of shifting from 3D to 5D or 4D, I think. I think we're kind of in the 4D energies now, and we're shifting to the 5D energy, right? So basically, the ascension process will take place in 3 stages between September and December this year, between September and December this year. The connection to the 5th dimension will happen worldwide in human beings who already reached a certain level a certain vibration. So they call this the third ascension. You will be connected to the frequency of the fifth dimension during the night of the 21st and the 22nd of December. The day after, you will be in a new vibration of light and carry a new frequency within you, which will free you over a period of time from negative emotions and programming. For example, fear and anger, right? As a result, a great transformation will take place step by step worldwide, as many people will then treat others in a much more respectful way. Okay, so I feel like this is really connecting to working with the heart space a lot, right? And I think when we connect that, when we open up with our heart space, we tend to vibrate in an energy of love. So when we vibrate in an energy of love, we do go to a higher state, right? So that starts on December the 20th at midnight. Okay, and yeah, I just wanted to read a little bit about that. So, and I kind of want to read about what is the fifth dimension. Okay, so I'll read a little bit about that too. So, what is the fifth dimension? How can we awaken to this level of consciousness? So, the fifth dimension is basically a level of consciousness. We move into this level of consciousness after self-realization has occurred. So, what is self-realization? So basically, self-realization is like, you can call this the ego, but we can just say that basically our false self dies. So we are going to start to kind of let go of these old identities that we've kind of slowly formed throughout the years, old programmings that we got used to throughout the years that probably was programmed within us through external influences, people, our parents, our school systems, the media, right? So all this will start to kind of dissolve, and that false sense of identity kind of starts to slowly leave, right? And we can say that this is the ego, so we can say it's kind of like an ego death, but the ego doesn't really die. We need the ego, so it's more like an identity. So our sense of it's a false sense of identity that tends to kind of strip away. Okay, so that's kind of like self-realization. In this process, the heart is the only thing that really matters in the spiritual process. So the opening in the heart allows for pure light and pure presence to flood through. Those who are self-realized embody this light and presence to a greater degree. So yeah, that's like opening up the heart space, right? And allowing yourself to be more connected to love, to a higher frequency. So kind of like cleansing all those blockages, probably all those angers and things that really kind of lower our energies. And so it's kind of like a blockage for the light to pierce through, right? It's hard for us to channel all that when we have all this baggage, right? And that's carried with us from the past. So it's been there stuck for quite some time. So although as much as this would affect worldwide, but I still feel like some people will still be stuck behind. Yeah, they say that like that a lot of people will stay in the 3D and a lot of people will go into the 5D. So there's like this separation, right, where people who are still stuck in their old programmings and don't want to change their ways in a sense, or work on themselves, or haven't been fully awakened, are going to be stuck in that matrix, going to be stuck in that 3D, right? So, and whereas we have another group of society going more towards the 5D, right? So, and kind of bringing forth, kind of being like the pioneers of a new world, right? Going to help be for the earth, not against the earth, right? And are going to have a more sense of their true divinity and self-realization of themselves and inner work, and that's going to help them elevate towards the 5D or maintain themselves in the 5D, right? So there can be a lot of aggressive energy every time that happens. That means there's aggressive energies. So there could be, contrary oppositions from people. That's going to be quite the challenge. I feel like there's going to be challenging times in order to raise yourself in that level of frequency. I feel like it's not going to be something easy. It's going to be a challenge because you have a lot of people that are, opposing energies, have different conflicts, so it's not something that's going to be smooth. It's there's going to be conflicting energies with other people, and for you to kind of stay true to that path, right? And we're always going to encounter oppositions, either at work, either with friends or families, right, or partners. So but the whole process is that we integrate this, right, and we work on ourselves, right? So let me continue reading a little bit about this. So, quite simply, those who are self-realized no longer have anything that energetically blocks this divine light and presence. Like I mentioned before, you are more clear to access light energy and channeling, right? Because you're in this pure state, right? So this is going to help you elevate yourself into the 5D. Okay, so things that one would normally repress or shun or are fully honored and listened to. So like this is basically it's kind of like when you do ayahuasca, you are forced to purge certain things out, right? So this is the same thing. Whereas you don't need the plant medicine, but you can work on yourself and kind of release those things that we have repressed. So it can basically be situations in our life that we are blocking and that we don't want to confront or resolve certain angers or certain things that kind of block us, right? Or anchor us to move on forward into a higher state, more loving state, right? So all those things are going to basically be released. Now I noticed that these couple of years, like around 10 years ago, I feel, where the shift was starting already to take place, the pre-shadow phases of the age of Aquarius were starting to take place, was that it didn't happen fully in the beginning of the years, but later on I realized, like a couple of years ago, 4 years ago, there's been a really strong purging, global purging. And I encounter a lot of family members in my personal experience where I've kind of viewed this personally around me, where I notice a lot of people purging certain things out or going through more difficult times, going through more inner darkness, kind of being forced to face all this darkness. And this makes sense of why we've been encountering a lot of darkness these days, past years too, because a lot of the time it's kind of like forcing us to confront the darkness, right? So when we confront the darkness, when we confront certain things in us that we have suppressed, it's very difficult for us to progress and ascend or move forward or shift to a higher dimension, right? Because there's just so much blockages still within us. So that's why we have to kind of purge and cleanse that out. And the energies kind of help us also, because the earth is shifting, it's kind of shifting the individual as well. So because we have to eliminate all these things within us, we are going through a lot of emotional release, or we're going through a lot of much more darkness and much more emotional struggle, right? So these are all blocks, right, that is preventing us to shift to a higher dimension. So yes, all the emotions we have repressed, we're finally confronting it and facing it, and we feel it. We feel all of it, and we honor it, and we release it, right? So that's what it's trying to say. The more that one sheds light and simple loving attention on all the old blocks, misunderstandings, and compressed emotions that are present within, the more that one naturally lightens up. The more one lightens up, the more that all these mystic processes and subtle shifts simply occur for you. And the lighter you are, the more that you embody all that you are really meant to be. Okay, so that's beautiful, because it's true. Like, the more we release old blocks, the more we can become much more lighter energetically and within us as well, right? We become much more bright, much more there's like more vitality inside of us, and that's kind of suggesting a shift in vibration, elevating us, right? When our mood shifts like that, right? And then that's when we start to align with synchronicity. We start to align with mystical situations happening around us, things that are much more magical and much more divine, right? We can't connect to these divinities or these interactions or see the synchronicity around us if we're very blocked with all these heavy emotions, right? We become like a rock and like form like a shield and can't sense all these things, right? So when we go through this process of releasing and honoring it and feeling it and purging these things out, then that's when you'll really start to kind of become more light, right? And because you're releasing all that, and your vibration will elevate much more higher. So yeah, the lighter you are, the more that you embody all that you really are meant to be. So you become your true form. So this is what they call the self-realization process. And I'll leave a link below and also in the descriptions below about this article that talks about this. And it's really fascinating. So overall, when one enters the fifth dimension, there is a sense that one is not so anchored down into what feels like the ground or earthly plane. So that's really cool, that perception of like how the fifth dimension feels like. So what they say is that it kind of feels like you're kind of floating in space, right? That's kind of the sensation, and like you're not really anchored into the ground, the physical ground of the earth, basically. It's like the perception changes, and so you don't feel like it's the ground or earthly or plane. This perception of the ground is what we call the fourth dimension. So this feeling, that you're on the ground and you're anchored into the earth and you don't really see things like globally, is what they call the fourth dimension. So that's how the perception, you view your perception like that in the fourth dimension. Fifth dimension is more different, like you're like a sense like you're floating in space, or like you're not limited by the ground, or it's hard to perceive it since we're not in the fifth dimension yet, or we are in the pre-shadow phases of it, but yeah, after experiencing the fifth dimension, the fourth dimension feels much more dense when we go back to it, much more compacted, heavy, and weighed down. So it feels much more heavy, see? Because you're in this lighter stage, and then you come back to the fourth D, and you feel the heaviness of the matrix, the city you're in. All these things feel much more dense, right, and heavy, right? And that's when we get a little bit depressed, or we just have this low energy, right? So because we've had a taste of the fifth dimension. And I can relate to that when I took ayahuasca. After taking ayahuasca, you go to this like high state, and like you basically go to a higher dimension. And then when you're there, when you're in an environment, you feel quite high vibrational, and then you have to go back home, and then you just feel this like heaviness and density, going back to this, basically the 3D or 4D, right? So that's how you can differentiate between the both of them, and that's how my personal experience was too. So that's the difference between them. So you will feel the difference of it being much more dense if you go back to like the sensation of the fourth dimension. So yeah, so like I mentioned, this purging process has been happening for a while now, and I think it's being forced upon people throughout the years because we are shifting into a higher state. So we are like forcefully releasing all that and going through these darkness and going through a lot of emotional purges, right? So like the dark tunnel. But this all has a purpose, because it is leading us to the fifth dimension. So and they say that the fifth dimension, like I mentioned, is going to start we may start feeling the pre-shadow phases on December the 20th to the 22nd. So that's like what they say, the official date that it'll start during the winter equinox. Okay, Winter Solstice of December. All right, so let's read a little bit more about this. How does the fifth dimensional feel? Okay, like I mentioned, standing in the middle of outer space. It is from the fifth dimension that the other levels of consciousness begin to open up and become more available for us. So that's great. It's like you get to connect with your ascended masters, your spirit guides, and your angels much more strongly. So you have more access to them. So like before, you can have like a subtle feeling of them around. You can sense them around, right? And there's some connection. I think that's already kind of like how much we can do in the 4D. But when we shift to 5D, the connection is much more stronger. So we sense it much more strongly with them. So that's great, and it is by journeying through the open heart, the incredible portal that it is, that we move into higher and more expansive states of being. We can access these beings of light and love whenever we need to. Simply ask. We need never do anything alone. The harder part is remembering to do so and trusting that the divine really is there for you. Something we all need reminding of, no matter who we are and where we are at. So, yes. So, like I said, it's about opening up your heart space again. It's opening up the heart chakra, opening to love. When we open up to love, we have more access to the light. We have more access to the divine and spirit guides, and there's a stronger connection to them. And I remember feeling that strong connection when I left to the healing center that I was at, and when I took the medicine. And I remember still having that connection where I was, even though I came back to a very low density place and city. That high vibration was still within me. But as time passed, I got lowered and lowered again, back to the 4D. But during that process of like when I came back, I still had like this strong connection with them, and I could feel them, and it was very blissful. It's such a blissful feeling. It's like it really fulfills you. That's all you need basically to make you happy, is that connection. But then the separation happened and I got caught off again into it, right? And but now working my way up, right, towards that 5D sensation again. So this all makes sense for me, because this is something like I kind of personally went to when I took ayahuasca. But that's kind of like a shortcut to the 5D. So if you want to progress in your acceleration process to the 5D, I suggest take ayahuasca, and that will like jumpstart you to that, because it will forcefully take that out. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be obviously confronting emotions. Is like confronting your shadow self, right? But you're already going through that process. You've like those stages of eliminating it, right? It doesn't have to be through ayahuasca. I think life, like the earth is already projecting that on everyone. So we already are going through a lot of emotional purges, whether with plant medicine or without. So it's already happening. So, okay, not only that is happening, a lot of things are happening in December. So December is a big month, right? So saying that we're just starting the reading for December. So what's also happening in December is that many are making claims about the time of the solstice on December 21st, that it is a time of the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. Now that's intense. The two largest outer planets in our solar system. So those are the major giant planets in our solar system. After December 2020, the world will enter into a 20-year Aquarian era with the Saturn and Jupiter Great Conjunction at first degree of Aquarius. So so after 2020, after we go through the winter solstice of December, that's when there's going to be a great conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter. So they're slowly going together, and they're going to do a conjunction. So They're very big heavenly bodies too. They're going to be affecting us a lot as well. So I'm going to read a little bit about that too. Yeah, a great conjunction is a conjunction of the planets Jupiter and Saturn. Great conjunction occur regularly every 19.6 years on average, due to the combined effects of Jupiter's approximately 11.86 year orbit period and Saturn's 29.5 year orbit period. The next great conjunction will occur on 21st of December 2020, which is now. The following great conjunction will be on the 31st of October 2040. So I'll also leave the link below if you guys want to read about it as well. Yes, it's overwhelming, Kevin. I'm sorry. Oh, but I feel this is important information. People must know this information. So what are the things that are going to happen when there's this great conjunction happens? Well, there are claims that, Earth is going to be bombarded with heavily by cosmic rays coming from the galactic core. Okay. That makes sense. These rays have been measured by ways of increased in the Schumann resonance. I can't pronounce it. A new superior dimension comes into being. It is a perceived reality. It's called the new earth, new heaven on earth, 5D. So this is what they're talking about, is like bringing heaven on earth, bringing basically 5D into the 3D or 4D at this time. So this is actually this is a big event. Like, I think, we're going to start shifting. Basically, we're going to start seeing the pre-shadow phases of heaven on earth. You're going to start elevating ourselves higher into much more higher frequency. And so all because of these sun rays, these cosmic rays coming from the galactic center. So, and this is what they call, the new earth, the new heaven. Yeah, the central sun is the hidden sun, the source of all being, the opposite source of Earth's sun. The cosmic doors will open on December 21st, 2020, like we mentioned. This will be the 6th Mayan sun. Pretty cool. All right, so I think that's all I'm going to read. Oh, this range light is activating the DNA called trash of the human body to rebuild the 12 plus 1 original filaments of our species. So DNA reactivation. So we do have strands of our DNA that are asleep, right? So there is this also theory that the Jupiter and Saturn conjunction is going to help awaken certain strands of our DNAs as well. So that's pretty cool. So there's also they're also talking about this great solar flash that will happen before the end of this year, 2020. There will be a massive eruption of white, blinding, magnetic, and fifth dimension light expelled from the galactic core. So I think that would be the same thing as like rays of light coming out from it. I don't think it's going to be like an actual explosion of light, but maybe it's all going to be energetically, that we're going to have to download a lot of information. So it's kind of like we have to prepare ourselves to, raise our frequency when that happens, right? So yeah, massive eruption of white, blinding, magnetic, and fifth dimensional light expelled from the galactic core. The light of this cosmic explosion will be so powerful it will illuminate the heavens of the earth for 1,000 years. So these are theories. I'm not sure if this is what's actually going to happen during the great Jupiter and Saturn conjunction, but these are interesting theories, and I think like they do resonate, but probably not. It probably won't be as intense. So yeah, like a wave. Yeah, probably like the third wave, right? I think we've gone through some waves already. We went through the first wave, the second wave, and this is probably the third wave now. So there's probably going to be a third wave of awakening, right? So we really should prepare for that, because this December is going to be big. Well, we're already in December, but as we pass through December 20th, things are going to get serious. So time to spiritually prepare ourselves. So that's what I say. So yeah, yes, Kevin, I think it's a wave. So I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, so I just wanted to read that. and I may do like a special preparation for it, and then my next weekly reading. So yeah. So let's start with the weekly reading then. Now that I got that out of the way and explained to everybody about that. So, all right. So for this weekly reading, this will be for December 7th to December the 13th. And I'll be using the Witch's Tarot like always, and the Psychic Tarot, just the Psychic Tarot Oracle cards, and then the Sacred Rebels, okay? All right, so let's shuffle the cards. So let's see what's in store for the beginning of the week for you guys. Maybe some energetic preparations for it. Yeah. I hope not more purging, because we've already had that a lot already lately, but now it kind of makes sense, right? Because of the Winter Solstice. Okay. Right. So let's set the intention for this week. Okay, so choices happening. Oh, and the King of Cups popped out too. So lots of emotions, lots of gifts of gestures of love, I feel, coming your way for this week, right? But there's also going to be like choices to be made, I feel, that needs a lot of contemplation at this time. Okay, we end the week really exciting. So we start off with the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands is like suggesting that there's still certain things that you're contemplating at this time. There's certain things that you're still stepping back and kind of like reflecting on certain things, whether you should take action on something or not. So you're in this kind of observation mode and kind of analyzing the situation too. Kind of reading over the situation. This could also be involving overthinking. There's a risk of overthinking as well. And usually when we overthink, that turns into the Nine of Swords, right? But I don't think it'll be too much. It's just more like an intuitive perception, kind of figuring things out intuitively and not really taking action yet. Although there's a lot of passion into wanting to take action, because he is holding that wand firmly, but he's holding the globe too. So you're holding the globe firmly in your hands and wanting to kind of having a decision whether to either move somewhere, move different places or location, or make a decision regarding a job offer or relationship. So this involves a lot of contemplation and figuring where your path will be, where you want to be directed in life, right? So seeing that there's a lot of shifts happening as well, we want to probably want to be in a place that has that energy, that has that high vibrational energy, right? Since we're working with energies these next weeks now. So it looks like there is like an understanding of things globally as well, and energetic shifts. So that's gonna influence your decisions as well. So that's gonna make you kind of think about situations, think about things more carefully without being so impulsive and making the choice right away, right? So you're going to actually step back and be careful and mindful with your decisions and choices this coming week, okay? So we have the Two of Wands, but you are very drawn already towards a path or towards a relationship or situation at work or an endeavor or something you're very passionate, right? Because this one is about passion, enthusiasm, excitement. So you are contemplating between that. But you are not you're not being too impulsive with it. So you are taking the time to think about it more carefully before taking action. So I do see you contemplating a lot on the beginning days of the week. And in the middle of the week, we have the King of Cups. So that's great. So we have this kind, nurturing, compassionate individual that's going to be a big influence in your life, okay? Whether it is your spouse, your partner, your friend, your sibling, love interest. This person has a lot to give, has a lot of emotions to give. So here he is, in his throne, in the waters, So this could be a Cancer, it could be a Scorpio or a Pisces, somebody who's very psychic, great counselor, a great person to talk to when you have situations like that are that you're confronting blockages. I feel emotional situations, a great shoulder to cry on, right? So things you want to express, he's there or she's there to listen to you and what you have to say, or just has that nurturing spirit or nurturing love to give, that loving gesture to give towards you, right? And so this person is going to be a good influence emotionally for you to heal. So whatever situations that you could be going through, blockages, emotional blockages, self-expression, the King of Cups is also a person who loves to express themselves as well. It could be creatively, could be poetic, could be artistically, right? So King of Cups very in tune to their waters, very similar to the Queen of Cups, right? Where she's very intuitive and creative in that sense, and very psychic. And the King of Cups carry those qualities too. But I feel like it's more of compassionate nature, kind of like a good great counselor, like a therapist, right? And it has more of that therapist kind of nature because it's a person who gives a lot, like fatherly energy, right? But it can be a female too, but it just contains more of that fatherly, yes, nurturing energy, but more of like it's there to listen to you and is there to provide emotions and there to like feed you with his waters, kind of like that, like fill up the cup for you. That's what I feel like is there for you, right? So in the Queen of Cups is the same thing, but I feel like King of Cups has more of a kind of like a counselor kind of energy or therapist energy, or just somebody that is there to listen to you if you're crying, or somebody who's right there beside you. So yeah, somebody like this is going to be with you during the middle of the week. You're going to sense a lot of their energies, their influences, right? Because uh perhaps Piscean energy, I do sense a Piscean energy or Cancerian energy, but very intuitive and very psychic, right? Very healing energy. Yeah, King of Cups are healers also. So, but yeah, so that's great during the middle of the week. That's going to be a great energy for you guys to heal any situations you're going through this week, or that you've been going through perhaps in the previous weeks, right? And then at the end of the week, we have the Four of Wands. So the Four of Wands is about community. It's about being surrounded by like-minded individuals, celebrating, having that warm welcome, not feeling alone, because most of the time we do tend to feel alone in this life and in this world, not being connected to much people, socializing, right? Especially during the quarantine. So this is going to give you an opportunity at the end of the week to encounter people that are of like mind, right? And that's going to make you feel a bit not as alone, right? Maybe the advice of the King of Cups is going to provide that warmth for you, right? Because this is a very warming card, a very welcoming card, a celebration, ceremony, an event, probably going to an event where you can encounter people that you feel connected and feel safe and secure with, right? So this is a great environment for you to kind of be yourself at the end of the week. So it looks like the influence of the King of Cups is going to really help you out during the end of the week, okay? And this is also suggesting, comfort, being comfortable in your home, decorating, renovating, moving. So if you are deciding to move to a new apartment, new home, this is the end of the week suggests a good time to do that, and suggests that, it's gonna be quite secure and comfortable, right? So maybe decorating Christmas decorations if you are into the Christmas holidays, whichever it is, there is this home welcoming kind of feeling, right? And whether it is you making that environment for yourself or it's somebody else creating that environment for you, or outdoors or going to an event, then it's just simply just suggesting that you're going to feel quite secure and emotionally content, right? And not as alone. Okay, so that's great. We have great energies for this week. So 4, 5, 6, yeah, 6. So I feel like you're going to have a lot of karmic connections, or opportunities to bond. I feel opportunities to not feel so isolated. I feel, and I think you're going to be contemplating about this in the beginning of the week, contemplating whether to connect with others or not. Maybe that can be one of the decisions for the beginning of the week. But I do feel like karmic connections this week, love and connection. Yeah, love for sure from the King of Cups, right? So that's going to help you a lot. That's going to fill your cup. And that's going to allow you to give it to others so that you can socialize and find the people that you connect with. So that's what I see for this week. So it's very warm, it's, very loving, and but at the same time, very intuitive. So not too much taking action, just contemplating on the situation, right? So let's take out more cards for this week from the Psychic Tarot. Okay. Okay, we have truth. Interesting, because this person is looking at the globe too. So it looks like you will be kind of perceiving your outer world more, like observing your outer world more, and kind of discovering things about it and yourself. Yeah, figuring out the truth, figuring out about the truth of a situation. Not really taking action, just observing the situation. I think it's just space. It kind of looks like Earth. I thought that was Earth, like a globe, right? Because they both are like, holding a globe or looking the globe, but they're both looking outwards, right? They're both looking at their situation, their destination, their environment, just observing before just taking action, right? So there's a lot of things that are going to be revealed, I feel, for you guys. A lot of things are going to be out in the open, and a lot of inner discoveries, outer discoveries. And so this is all going to allow you to like take it in, integrate it, and that's going to kind of brew inside of you all these new things and downloads and upgrades, let's just say. And that's going to kind of give you alternative solutions to your situation that you were contemplating before, that you're still thinking. That's going to give you it's going to give you a different perspective of things. And that's when your choices and decisions are going to change, I feel, in the beginning of the week, because of these certain truths and revelations being shown to you. Okay, so that's a great card to get as well. That definitely links to the Two of Wands. So we also have material and spiritual prosperity. So this is also going to give you an opportunity to kind of appreciate what you have at this time, knowing that you are very secure in where you're at. And I think you're going to get that impression a lot at the end of the week when we have the Four of Wands. So because of this connection with others, or kind of just enjoying the comforts of your own home, I feel as well, that's going to make you feel quite grateful with what you have. So this definitely, this definitely goes towards the gratitude, and setting forth levels of gratitude and within you and into the universe, because there's a lot of good things and blessings for you. Okay, so you are definitely receiving material and spiritual prosperity, or just a sense of just feeling gratitude for it, right? There is also support coming your way, help, material support coming your way. Could be financial help as well. That can come from somebody who is like the King of Cups, right? Because the King of Cups is quite generous and does a lot of charity work. That's what I feel. So maybe this will be you as well, being somebody who wants to give more, right? Tuning into that heart space of the King of Cups and giving out more to others and helping out people out, right? Because the King of Cups is quite generous, right? So we have a sense of gratitude also this week, and a sense of abundance, and a sense of helping each other out. Somebody helping you, and somebody it doesn't have to be material possessions, can finances like money. It can also just be advice, giving somebody advice in order to help them out in their life. So either you will be giving that advice, or somebody else may be giving that advice to you. And then we have wisdom. Okay, so that I definitely connected with the King of Cups. So this person definitely has a lot of wisdom to provide for you, or you have to provide for the person, right? So this person is quite wise, quite mature, and has a lot of knowledge to give. So to tune into their energy, listen to their energy, listen to them, and they can really help you out, right? They definitely want to offer their cup of love and healing, right? So definitely there's going to be new insights coming your way too, new knowledge coming your way, understanding of things, probably from a King of Cups or from the community you're participating in, or perhaps with your relatives or friends or somewhere you're going. And that's going to help you kind of give you like a broader perspective of where your life is heading at this time, or what will be the next steps basically in your journey, right? So like I said, I think love and opening up the heart space really helps, right? Because then this allows your perceptions to shift and change, right? So as soon as our perception shifts and changes, it kind of shifts our external world, right, as well. And it kind of like brings things brings new things into our lives, new experiences, new encounters, new adventures, right? But we have to be open to it, right, first, right? And we have to learn to receive this energy, right, of the King of Cups, right? And receive that wisdom as well, because it's going to help you a lot, or you can help another person a lot as well, right? And enjoy the end of the week, because it's going to be quite fun. Okay. And and I'm just going to pull one more card from the Sacred Rebels, and then see what you guys want to interpret it, how you guys want to interpret the reading with the Sacred Rebels. Oh, this one has been appearing a lot in the monthly readings. So it says here, release the dark wound. Let love in. Yeah, it's plain and simple. It like basically expresses what I just mentioned, and basically what I talked about in the beginning of the video about kind of releasing those purges, right? Because I think because we're elevating ourselves into a higher vibration. We are entering 5D, right, in December, at the end of December. So what are the wounds that you need to release? What are things that are still stuck within you in your system that hasn't been let go yet, right? It's there. It's been in your stomach area for a while. It's probably rotting inside already. So what are the things that we need to release that's still in there, and it's like long overdue, that it's still kind of like an anchor for you to kind of ascend higher or evolve or move forward to a higher frequency or a higher clear energy, an environment where you're feeling much more elevated. So when you look at it, what do you guys think when you take a look at the card, right? What is it that you guys think you need to release? What are things and situations that need to be resolved, right? So I'll leave that up to you guys, what this card resonates for you guys. But for sure, when I look at it, I relate it to, past pains and traumas, and letting go. Yes, Kevin, letting go of things, that are from the past, right? So that's the message of the Sacred Rebels, is to release that wound and let love in. Oh, and I think that's what this is. Let love in. And this can be just finding a great friend or a romantic partner, or just connecting more strongly with your spouse or partner, right? This can be your parent. So it's like opening that love space again. And I think that's what the lesson of the Sacred Rebels wants to teach us. So, all right. So I hope you guys enjoyed this weekly reading. And I hope all that information that I discussed in the beginning, about entering the fifth dimension, and the Equinox, and the age of Aquarius, and Saturn Jupiter Conjunction. I'll leave the link below for the articles if you guys want to read it. So I hope that information helped, and to prepare yourselves for December 20th to the 22nd. Okay. All right, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading, and I'll see you guys again in my next videos. I have to finish the love reading, so I think I'll start recording it on Monday. I'll start with the fire signs on Monday morning. I'll do the fire signs Monday morning, and then the earth signs on Tuesday morning. So I'll wrap up the love readings for December. Okay. All right, guys. So have a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Oh, and if you like the video, subscribe to my channel, like the video, and leave a comment below. Okay, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Peace. See you.